Hello everyone, it's me Hedda and I'm back. Hello Yom Tov. I do apologise for no videos so far this week. I'm sorry for letting everybody down. We're busy going through a real humid heat wave in the UK just now, and back in the day I was a real major sun lover. Nothing ever stopped me getting out into the sun. But unfortunately now I have lymphedema and I can't do that now. I've got to wear all these support garments and what have you, and in this weather my legs are just on fire, so are my feet. So to be out in hot sunshine, it's not the best recipe in the world. Plus I had another attack of fibro with the lymphedema and sort of being fairly swollen, as you can see on still a little bit swollen there, and you can see from under here. I'm very glad you couldn't see me yesterday, because I think you would have been thinking you were on the wrong channel and you should have been on a horror channel. I looked absolutely awful. I've shared my picture with a couple of my friends, and they just felt really, really sorry for me, and they're lovely girls. I think they just think, oh God, poor girl, you know. But it is what it is. It's all part of growing older and having health problems. Hopefully I'll be fine for tomorrow night's spooky sessions. But I'm not going to say I'm definitely going to do it. It all depends on how I'm feeling. Now, going by the title of this video, you're probably going to be thinking, well, if she couldn't do a video on Monday, and if she couldn't do one last night, and she's talking about not doing one tomorrow, why is she here now? That's fine. And going by the title of this video, you'll know why I'm back. Because I said he who should not be named, I would stay quiet until he did something, especially to hurt someone that means a lot to me. So, I don't know if many of you know, but here, I'm going to say it. The Rewired Soul, Chris Boutte, has written an ebook called Cancelled. Now, I believe it's incorrectly spelled. It should have 2 L's. But if that's the way it's spelled in the States, then I apologise. But in the UK, we spell it with 2 L's when you say you're cancelled. Believe you me, I wish he was. But he's still sitting there, still believing he's relevant. Not to the people who he's maligned, he isn't. Because he's causing heartbreak again in this book. Now, I haven't read the whole book because A, I am not donating $5 to that man. I wouldn't piss on him if he was on fire. So I very much will not donate money to read this pile of me. Secondly, when you do go to download it, he demands that you put in your full name, your email address, and you're added to his mailing list. Now, I'm what they call woke. You know, here's me using all the fun youth language when it comes to him. Because I know exactly how he operates, who he is, and what he's after. And we all know what he's after. This, right? We all know that. But there are some who believe everything he says. And let's face it, there are some who act like sheep. He is the shepherd and they follow. And they will sign up for this download. No doubt they will also donate to him. I mean, he did say at the time of writing, sob, that he'd only raised $15. In my opinion, that was $15 too much. But he will have people donating. and he will have people downloading, giving their name and their email address, and by this way he can persuade them to part with more money to buy his other bits of trash, I mean books, via Amazon. I wish I could just get through to all these people and say, look, put this sentence together. Barge Paul, Chris wouldn't touch with. Just rearrange that sentence to make it make sense. Because the man is dangerous. I keep saying this. The man is dangerous. Now, The Haven is a tiny channel, right? And I have spoken out about this man many times. I was also included in Primink's video, which leads me to Primink. Now, apparently, Chris tweeted at Primink saying that he was going to go to Vidcon, and would Primink like to meet up with him? You know, he'd forgiven him about the past. Isn't that good of him? And wouldn't he like to meet up with Chris and have a chat at Vidcon? And Primink said, no. That was that. You'd think you'd leave it there, wouldn't you? No. He then goes on to have, these are obviously leaked DMs, but they're out there in public now, where, and I'm going to say what he said, and I apologise for the language. It's not my language, it's his. That he wanted to get hold of the motherfucker, and he wanted to punk him, and he was going to take him down, and he wanted to, and the Primink really should thank him for not being the old Chris who was insane, but the new Chris who's now in charge of his anger. I'm sorry, if anybody's going to tweet like that, who's going to talk like that, if I was to say to you, you want to be very, very lucky that you're dealing with me, the calm header, than I was when I was crazy header. That's not me getting rid of any anger. I don't believe that at all. I still believe the man has anger issues, because he still gets angry over stuff. You know, he writes this book, Rewire Your Anger, but he's shown that he's capable of being vicious, absolutely vicious. And again, I'm going to prove it to you that he's been absolutely vicious. I've had a Havener come to me extremely upset, and this is, I mean, I was upset about what he said to Primink, but funny enough, not surprised. In this book that I will admit up front, I have not read cover to cover. I've read portions of it and laughed at a lot of it, because by God, this man has an ego. I mean, he really, really loves the sound of his voice, and he really believes that he is important, that the rest of us are just ants. We don't really matter, but he's the important one. Let's not forget that, how important Chris Boutte really is. He's apparently dedicated a whole chapter to Gary of Bipolar Corner. He has said that he wasn't going to go after the likes of Primink and the bigger YouTubers, and he wasn't going to go after the smaller ones, but he's actually gone ahead and picked on people who aren't YouTubers. He's picked on people who were sub to him. And what I want to do is I want to read to you, and I'm not mentioning a name, because, you know, Although the guy does everything but name my name. That's how disgusting he really is. He's actually gone off to 2 Haveners, by the way. And I won't mention either of their names. But I'm going to read to you, and then I want to comment on bits of what he said. And then you tell me what you think. And I'm sitting here on my anger, because you know how angry I can get. But I would look on this. It's not righteous anger. It's just justifiable anger. You know, this girl doesn't have a voice to speak for herself. She suffers from BPD. And she has PTSD. And she struggles to get through every day of her life and wanting to feel good about herself. It's a real struggle for her. And I'm telling you, I've spoken to her quite a lot. And she comes across to me, a vibration comes across to me as she's actually very gentle, very kind, very loving, but very, how can I put it? It's easy to hurt her. She's easily hurt. And, you know, when someone is suffering from a mental illness, the last thing you go out and do is hurt them with stuff that you have, you know, you've confided in to a huge extent. Now, she went into huge extent with Chris, much, much more than she's done with me. And all I'm going to read to you is what he has said. Now, this is on page 109. If any of you have downloaded the book called Cancelled. Now, he starts off with this. During that time, I spent hours upon hours with various people talking privately. I also respond to more comments on my YouTube channel than many other creators. My audience means the world to me, and I want them to know that. I want them to know that I'm there for them. So many of them would thank me for going above and beyond. While I didn't expect anything in return, you would think that I built up some trust equity with these people. You don't call people who follow you these people. I don't refer to any of the Haveners as these people. They're my people, but we are all Haveners. They're not these people. Because to me, when you say these people, you make it sound as if they are lesser than you. That's one of the first things that got me knocked. So now we're going to get into the meat of it. Unfortunately, when the drama happened, these people had absolutely no loyalty and completely turned their back on me and started hating me. It wasn't all of them, but it was most of them. The best way I can describe it is like when you're dating someone and everything is going great. They love you, they brag about you to their friends, you meet the family, everything's going great. And then one day you have the slightest argument and that's it. They break up with you, it's over. It feels like they forgot everything you two had been through together. Right, now, I want to come on to something about this because I was discussing this with a friend, and this is very much like he's acting like the boyfriend. And why I want to make this clear to you is he's completely acting like the boyfriend, and it's a case of you've got the boyfriend and the girlfriend. They've been together for a while. The boyfriend starts having behaviours that the girlfriend doesn't like. She says, you know what, enough's enough. I'm not putting up with these behaviours anymore. It's over. It's done. I'm gone. Okay? And then the boyfriend starts with, hang on a minute, what about everything I did for you? Oh, you're a bitch. You're this, you're that, you're the next thing. And, you know, the first thing you think is, hang on, he sounds very controlling. he sounds as if you've got an anger issue there. She was better off out of it. So I particularly believe that the way Chris views himself and all the haters that he says he has is that we are the girlfriend and he is the boyfriend. You know, everything was fine until you lot turned around and started hating on me. Everything was going great until you lot, these people, turned against me. And it's absolutely true. He's used the exact right analogy. Chris is the boyfriend. And, you know, we can talk about this. If you don't agree with me, mind you, that's absolutely fine. This is just my opinion. Okay? As I said, I was talking about this to a friend, and this was what we agreed with. But that's just us. You don't have to agree with me. Okay? That's absolutely fine. Anybody can have any opinion whatsoever here. And you know I'll answer you as soon as I can get round to it, as long as we're always respectful to each other and kind. Okay? Because that's just how we are in here, aren't we? Okay. There's one young woman. This is where he starts to talk about this girl. There's one young woman in particular who I won't name, but her turning on me hurt a lot. She is a young woman from the UK who was recovering from BPD, and she loved all my videos on BPD. So if there was ever a ride or die fan, I felt that it was this young woman. She was always in my comments sections, spreading the news about my channel, and this meant a lot to me because there's such a lot of stigma around having BPD. And I'm grateful when anyone with BPD sees me as an ally. All right then, Chris. You've said where she comes from. So you haven't named her, but you've said the country that she comes from, the mental illness that she has, the fact that she stand you, right? And the fact that, you know, you're grateful when anyone with BPD stands you, right? But the minute that she sees the light and turns away from you, you're going to, you know, you're saying that you want to rid the stigma that surrounds BPD, but the minute that she turns against you, then she's all that's awful. Oh, okay. You know how Gabriel Moore says, I see how you move. Well, I'm seeing how he moves, and you will too. This young woman was a little too much to handle at times, but I could deal with it. She started her own blog about BPD recovery, and she's an incredible writer who believes people with BPD can recover. So there he's outed her as a blogger on BPD. He said that she was a little too much to handle. Now, the thing is, he's not everybody's saviour, but he sets himself up as some kind of second messiah, you know? Come to me and I will cure all your ills. You know, I don't have a qualification to my name, but you know what? You bring your mental suffering to me and I'll cure all your ills. First off, don't take your pills. Be aware of mindfulness. And by the way, why don't you link up to that BetterHelp? Because that's what gets me, you know, all my therapy. And it also gets me a little taco money. But of course, I'm not going to tell you that because I'm going to hide it in the description box by try online therapy instead of betterhelp.com. Conman. What did I say to you all the time? It's always been about the money. I've said this to you from day one. I called it about the money days before anybody else did. But I'm so tiny. I'm not getting any credit for it. I said it at the beginning. This man is in it for the money. And I've been proved right. Except other people are saying, oh, it's all about the money. And everybody's going, yay. Thank you for saying it's all about this. And I'm sitting there going, yoo-hoo. Never mind. Doesn't matter. Look, as long as it gets out there, it doesn't matter. Right. He said she was too much to handle at times, but he could deal with it. She'd constantly ask me to share her blog posts, retweet her and give her shout outs. While I loved her work and believed in her, I had to set some boundaries. No, he didn't. He didn't have to set any boundaries with her. He was, asking her just as much. He was leeching from her and her knowledge about how she coped with BPD, so he could turn it around and write about it as if it was happening to him. So, no, I'm sorry, I don't accept that. She and I even worked together when a YouTuber with BPD made a video that upset the both of us. I made a video about it. She wrote a blog post on the situation. In my video, I started out by telling everyone about the blog post and telling everyone to go check it out. And I put the link in my description. So people are now going to go searching through his videos to find the link to the blog post to find out who this girl is. And that means that all his little sheep, the poor unfortunates who still haven't woken up to who this guy really truly is, if they are in the mood to, they'll go and attack her. And that's wrong. The thing is, I'm going to say to you now, I hate him. I've made no secret of that. But I've never once said to you, I want you to go to Chris Boutte's Twitter or his YouTube and show him hate. No, I've never said that. What I have done is I've said, I'm asking you, please, do not support this man. Do your own research. Find out for yourself. See if what I'm telling you is the truth. I have my own reputation to protect, I'm not just going to sit here in my kitchen and spouting nonsense just for the hell of it. This is a dangerous man. Telling people to come off their medication and practice mindfulness instead. He's not a doctor. He has no right to do that. But he has done that because we've seen it in black and white. So, when the Discord server was created, she was in there too. Because people spam, we had some rules about advertising your own content. Since I knew her intentions were good and that she wanted to help people with BPD, I helped her share her blog in posts in Discord too. The moderators would ask me if it was all right that she shared these things, and I told them it was. She and I had a great relationship, and I did so much to help her without expecting anything in return. Can I just ask you, if any of you have actually read this cancelled book, do you notice how many times he keeps saying, and I did this without expecting anything in return. I did such and such for so-and-so, but I expected nothing in return. Oh, the man's a saint, isn't he? I bet he'd give you the shirt off his back. Yeah, it would cost you along the line though, wouldn't it? No thanks. Today, when I aired the second trailer for this very book, I saw her in the comments section. She was in there talking about what a terrible person I am. Was I surprised? Absolutely not. This wasn't the first time. Since the drama channels coordinated their attack against me, this young woman turned on me without even thinking twice. It's like everything I did for her never mattered at all. She had no problem erasing everything she knew about me and believed these people who also didn't know me. She is just one example, but there are many others too. There were countless people from my audience who I helped without asking for anything in return, and now they publicly say what an awful person I am. I talk about this in therapy a lot because it still has my mind messed up months later. Like I said, They're still attacking me. It'd be one thing if I say they stopped supporting my channel and didn't talk to me anymore. The part that still hurts is they actively go out to hate videos about me, to feed the narrative of what an awful person I am. They also comment on tweets calling me terrible things, and some have even made hate videos about me. I don't reply to them. I just sit here defeated and broken, seeing people I did nothing but try to help turn on me. And I expected nothing in return. Actually, I added that last little bit. I thought you might have missed it. And here's where he mentions another person I know, a very good friend of mine, someone who I love dearly. And he is someone I love very dearly. One day, one young man who used to thank me for helping him get sober made a hate video on me. And in a moment of weakness, I left a comment telling him how sick and how hurt I was. I'm not going to lie, but I was a kind of a dick about it. But as someone who helped him get sober, I spoke to him the same way anyone with more clean time than me would talk to me if I was acting that ungrateful and delusional. Even as I write these words month after the incident, it still confuses the hell out of me. How could someone be helped by something and then they weren't? He seems to forget that this person I love also was getting help with his sobriety away from Chris. He never mentions that. This person who I love wasn't just sitting in his house waiting for Chris Boutte to come along and save him. No, he wasn't. Yes, he was a follower. Yes, he would have agreed with things that Chris was saying, but the upset between him and Chris was well before the drama channels said anything about him. There were things that Chris was saying and doing that my friend didn't agree with, and he told him so. There are two sides to every story. Remember that. There are actually three sides to every story. There's his, there's hers, then there's the truth. So in my case, you've got Chris's truth, my truth, and then there's the truth. Okay? So you've got to keep that in mind. I would always say use the third one to do your own research, and then you decide who do you feel is the most trustworthy. That's all I would ever ask you to do in any situation. There are so many things that I could say about this man that I would shock you with my language. I'll probably lose some of you because of my language. But look for the snippets that you can find on anywhere you can. You can go on to his website, his blog, and you'll find excerpts of the first two chapters of his book. Read it for yourself. I found it myself. You read it for yourself, and you come to your own conclusions. He talks about other people being delusional, but I'm sorry, he is an ex-addict who has swapped one addiction for another, and his new addiction are videos. He pumps out 3 a day, as he says. He's sometimes done 5 a day. Now, it's literally taking me all my time just to make this one. And I'm no goody two-shoes. Far from it, you know that. But I've always said that I would stand up for those who didn't have a voice. And my friend, the girl, lovely young lady, doesn't have a public voice. So I'm speaking out for her. And I'm speaking out for all the other people that he has shaded in this, I use the term loosely, book. If that was out in paper, I wouldn't use it for toilet paper. It's built on a tissue of lies. He is absolutely delusional with regard to some of the things he's said about these people. He's made that young lady out to be, he's doing more to add to the stigma of BPD by painting her the way that he has. And that's unforgivable, because I'm trying to get an idea of how it's affecting her mentally. But I can't honestly say that I truly understand. I know she's devastated. She's absolutely distraught. And when she told me, and it was only just this morning, in fact, it might have been 3 hours ago, and I was very, very angry. I'm very glad I didn't make a video then, because I think a lot of you would have walked away because the air would have been blue. So I want to just wrap this up by saying, one of these days, Chris Boutte, you are going to, in life, you are going to say the wrong thing to the wrong person. You really are. You talk about Primink being a motherfucker, and you want to take him down. You still want to take him down, even though you're the new improved Chris. No, there's something wrong with you, mate. Someone who's rewired their anger shouldn't be talking like that. Just because Primink didn't want to meet you, you want to take him down. Who do you think you are, the mafia? You're disgusting. You're a bully. You're a manipulator. You're a liar. You're a cheat. You're just everything I'm not. And I'm by nowhere, any stretch of the imagination, perfect. No way. I've tons of faults. Absolutely tons of them. But I'm so glad I'm not like you, Chris Boutte. I can look at myself in the mirror. And I do have a clear conscience. And a clean one. And I haven't always been the best friend. And there's times where I haven't always been the best wife. And there's times where, I've let my kids down, and all stuff I acknowledge. Even now, I still make mistakes with people. And I do regret stuff that's happened. Of course I do. But some things you do and you can't unchange them. He's been given a chance to come out and change himself, and he hasn't done it. He's just carried on ad nauseum. If I was feeling more up to it physically, I would have got more riled up and even more angry. And I'm sorry that I'm not exactly 100% right now. But trust me, I always said I would speak up for those who couldn't speak for themselves. So if anyone has their own particular story to tell about Chris Boutte and how he's upset them, and you need a voice to speak for you, I'm more than happy to do that. And I don't clickbait, and I don't look for clout. I don't do any of those things. None of my videos are monetized. So I'm not doing it for money. I'm doing it because it's the right thing to do. I'm just disgusted. And anyone who watches this, please, all I can do is look at you and say, please, don't go near this man. Don't get sucked in by what he's telling you. Please don't. Because you're on a hiding to nothing. You'll end up losing out financially. And believe you me, I am telling you, he doesn't care about you. He doesn't care about you. All he cares about is your view, because that brings him money. And he's suffering right now financially. So he wants more subscribers so he can get more views, so he can get more money, because he won't find a proper job and bring in his own wage, because he doesn't want to have a boss over him anymore. So YouTube for him is the easier thing to do. And he blames all the wrong people for his misfortunes. They're all down to himself, not anybody else. Go back and look at all the videos that have been made about him. And please, please, come to the right conclusion. Please don't follow him. This man tells people to come off their medication. He's got no legal right to do so. He's got no medical right to do so. Please don't fall for him. Please don't. I'm going to end it here, guys. And if I can be, I'll be with you tomorrow night. But please understand if I'm not. Take care. I love you. Bye-bye for now.